Outlander is doing wonders on television right now. Ratings are shooting through the roof, and more fans are watching it. But amid all the excitement, fans have spotted this disappointing blunder made during the filming of a major scene, and it's taking some of the charm away for them. Watch on for all the details and all the juiciest Season 6 news. First up, what's the production error that made it to the final cut? The period drama Outlander remains one of the best of its kind, but fans were rather distracted by this blunder during one of its pivotal scenes in Season 6. Fans took to social media to complain about the presence of filming equipment in the background of one of Season 6's scenes, what seems to be a camera peeked into the shots during Episode 1. The episode titled Echoes saw our favorite characters return to Fraser's Ridge to deal with many exciting events, and at one point, Jamie Fraser comes into direct contact with someone who attacked his wife. The guy named Richard Brown traumatized Claire, and doesn't seem to be the least bit regretful. Instead, he has the nerve to accuse Alan Christie of stealing, and forces Jamie to dish out a punishment of 10 flogs. What would otherwise be a tense scene was undermined by a visible piece of camera equipment in the background. One of the fans took to Reddit to express their disappointment, sharing a still from the scene. They pointed out the bulking camera that was set up in the background, and somehow made its way to the final edit without being noticed by the production team. And those who saw the original post also immediately realized that it was a camera that they saw. More fans joined in on the buzz and shared that they first thought it was a branch or a tree. However, a closer look made everything clear, and yep, it really was an error on the producer's part. And not only that, it seems like the actor who plays Richard also appeared in scenes where he didn't belong. Chris Larkin appeared to enjoy some downtime with a noticeable grin on his face. Larkin must be unaware that his relief at having some free time to himself would actually be shared with the world. This is kind of baffling for the fans because they don't get how the production team could miss these major on-set mistakes. They joked about how the gaffe made the premiere less thrilling for them. Now, other times fans have spotted on-set mistakes in Outlander. On-set errors are common for even the most successful shows. Sometimes things just go unnoticed until premiere day, and then they blow up on social media. Outlander is no exception, and through its 6 seasons, there have been various instances where objects, characters, and even storylines were completely out of place. Here are some of the most interesting ones. First, we have Jamie's full name. Claire's already a weathered soul from the first season onwards. She gets trapped in the past, but her present wasn't all that rewarding either. A little help from the Highlanders is what's fueling her survival. Unfortunately, Black Jack Randall is coming for her, and her only option for safety is to become Scott by marrying one. Her obvious option is Jamie, but she's hesitant because she claims to not know his full name. Slight issue though. In the episode titled Garrison Commander from Season 1, Claire reads out a marriage contract that lists her full name, and of course, Jamie's too. So it isn't possible that she doesn't know it. Next, the chewing gum. We see the first villain, Black Jack Randall, in Season 1's Episode 6. Outlander doesn't want to take any chances, and states very explicitly just how awful of a man he is by making him chew on a piece of gum in his very first shot. Chewing gum is a universal staple for villains. It's as if it helps them achieve their evil causes. The problem with Outlander using the cliche is that chewing gum didn't exist in the 1700s, and not to be a history nerd, but it made the way to English settlers in 1848, so there's no way that a Scots was affirming his own evilness by chewing on a piece of gum in the 1700s. Next, Jamie's a sadist, and he doesn't know what that is. Claire recalls to Mrs. Reverend from the present day that she called Jamie a sadist at one point, but he didn't understand the term's meaning. Cute little detail, except in the 9th episode from the same season, when Claire once again called Jamie a sadist for spanking her, he shows no signs of not knowing what the word means. The slight coordination issue is hard to miss in the season. Now the cuts. Jamie and Claire may be the romance for the centuries, but they didn't start off as smooth. Claire wasn't that sold on the idea of marriage and was only doing it for the sake of her own safety. And against her better judgment, she agreed to a hasty wedding in the first season. And hasty as the ceremony was, Claire barely got the time to familiarize herself with the Scott way of doing those things. One of the weird traditions involves slitting both the husband and the wife's wrist and letting it bleed. Claire didn't have a choice and went ahead with it all. The cuts were received, but they just weren't shown in the later scenes from the same episode. Kind of questionable. Now in other Season 6 news, Sam Heughan has explained the meaning of his kilt from Season 6. Ever since the 6th season premiered, various actors have been taking interviews where they answer questions about their characters. Recently, Sam Heughan, who plays the protagonist in Outlander, answered some questions about his character, Jamie's clothes, in the 6th season. The questions surrounded the 3rd episode of the season, towards the end of which Jamie has successfully defended himself against Fergus. Fans noticed a small detail about his outfit from the scene, where Jamie's seen sporting a kilt. One fan asked why Jamie chose to wear a kilt to go fishing when he found a vengeful Fergus waiting on him. Heughan explained that it was a private moment of pride for his character. He said in a tweet, "It was still illegal to wear a kilt at the time, and the punishment would be huge. Jamie can't risk it in the presence of the crown, especially potentially working for them. However, when he's alone, on his own land with no risk, he can reveal who he really is." As it turns out, Scottish tartans have been banned following the defeated Battle of Culloden. There was official punishment for those who broke the rule, which is why it confused fans as to how Jamie so confidently wore in the season. Previously, fans have also pointed out the same thing, except Jamie even had the guts to wear what he wanted in front of redcoat soldiers. When questioned, author Diana Gabaldon, who's been behind the genius Outlander books, said that English settlers weren't as strict about tartan restrictions. Plus, anyone who wore what they wanted wasn't harmed as long as it was done in their own land. The Battle of Culloden had pretty much awakened the rebel within Jamie, and it's come out in the open on quite a few occasions, and it's always a treat to watch when it does. Next, actors Lauren Lyle and Caesar Domboy talk about their characters in Season 6. Lauren Lyle and Caesar Domboy met up with Collider recently and discussed their characters, Marsali and Fergus, and how they navigated parenthood in the show. Lyle was asked about how she managed to keep the pregnancy belly on, and whether she felt better or worse when she suddenly didn't have to wear it anymore. To that she replied saying she liked having a waist again when the belly came off, and having to wear a corset again was also something she enjoyed. Both the actors were then questioned about an intimate scene in episode 2, where Marsali is about to give birth and thinks she would die. The host admitted they found the scene beautiful, and Domboy thanked him for that. Domboy also said that the two actors had lots of discussions and practiced prior to the scene to really perfect it. Since it was such a sensitive moment, the actors were also unsure as to whether they'd be able to deliver it in the scenes, and luckily they did. Lyle also told the host that there was an intimacy coach hired for the actors, but apart from the training, Lyle and Domboy are comfortable enough around each other that the scene wouldn't have been a problem, coach or no coach. And finally, Lyle was asked just how difficult it was for Marsali to go through childbirth, especially since death seemed imminent. Lyle said it was pretty exhausting, and Marsali did get a little scared at one point, and almost accepted death as her fate, but then she pulled through and also realized just how strong she is. That to Lyle was a beautiful moment for both the character and herself. That was it for today's video. What are your thoughts on Outlander's newest season? Let us know in the comments below, and make sure to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe to our channel, where we post similar videos quite frequently. We'll see you in the next one.